What's up, people? Welcome back to the Nerdactyl podcast. I'm your usual host, Scott. Forgot what I was there. Forgot what my name was. And today, joined by newcomer Joel.
All right, what's crack?
Today, we're talking about the Nathan Fillion. Didn't say Nathan Drake this time.
Yep.
The Nathan Fillion fan movie for Uncharted. And we're going to give it a quick review. We're going to talk about what we liked about it, what we didn't. And Joel, what was your overall thoughts on the pretty shock film that came out?
I'm glad it exists.
Glad it exists. Okay.
Yes. That's the way I like to phrase it.
So that doesn't sound entirely positive.
It's not. Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I actually thought it's kind of it was more what I wanted from a video game adaptation than I've got before, which was great. But I have to agree, it wasn't perfect, and it could have been so much more. But I'm glad it exists.
Yeah. I overall think the idea of it being what I think a video game adaptation should be, but then seeing it in reality, it was like, you know what? Maybe trying to do a direct transition from game to film is not the way forward.
100%. Absolutely, 100%. So, as you said, it has some good, some bad. And I think what we should do probably talk about what we liked first.
Yeah.
You know? Let's start positive. So, it's Nathan Fillion.
Yeah.
It's Nathan. That's gotta be a positive. Nathan Fillion, everyone has always kind of said Nathan Fillion is Drake. You know, if you watch Firefly, Mal essentially gotta be what Nathan Drake was based on, at least to some
definitely
extent.
An inspiration.
Aye, definitely an inspiration. And Nathan Fillion, I do feel, was pretty damn awesome.
Yes, I think that he's very accurate, but at times a wee bit too much. Not too much accuracy, just too much Fillion.
Yeah, I agree completely. So that's one of the things I was thinking. He is perfect for Nathan Drake, but he is essentially just playing himself. You know, he is Nathan Fillion, and that's okay, I feel, because Drake was based on him to some extent, and he nails that side of him.
Yeah.
But I would like to have seen a little bit different. You know, let's see Nathan Fillion push himself a little bit more. Now, he did get a lot of the characteristics right, and little character actions and things like that were just perfect. A lot of the jokes, a lot of the humour. But he was a little cartoony. Would have been nice to be a little more. Yeah. You know, Drake's a bit more serious than what Nathan Fillion is.
Some of the things that went on, it seems like we're in negatives already, but I'll let my negatives come out a wee bit later on, but I'll praise the character reveal. I felt that
that's great.
Obviously watching it, we knew Nathan Fillion was going to be playing Drake, but that anticipation of seeing him with him, you know, the build up, him getting dragged into the house and the bag over his head and the chair, and then there is that reveal. It was very self-aware in the way it was done, because obviously there has been a demand for Fillion as Drake, but it was kind of one of them moments where it was like, yeah, you know what, you know, that wee bit was earned. That was definitely earned.
Especially the way, I think even the line was Nathan Drake in the flesh. And it's like...
Yeah, no, I thought that line was a bit cheesy. I thought it was a wee bit too much.
One of those self-referentials. And that's what I agree with. We'll talk about more in the negatives, I guess. But yeah, it was a little much. It was a little...
Yeah, but up until that point, the reveal was the highlight of the short for me. I just think that you could have just made the short that. Have him take the bag off. Hey, fellas. There we go. Okay, sweet. I'm happy enough with that. But
funny, I think my highlight of the short was... It's quite a strange bit. It wasn't the jokes, it wasn't the humour, because we've seen that before from Nathan Fillion. Mine was whenever it felt like he was actually doing Drake things. Yeah. You know, it wasn't just him in a chair doing quips. It was... I love when he went into the little room and he's looking, you know, he's looking through the letters and stuff, and he's figuring things out. And Sully says, kid, no one knows what you're doing. You know, when you're doing that, when you're doing Nathan Drake. And I'm like, that's what I want to see. I want to see not just Nathan Fillion in a cosplay. I want to see actual Drake things being done. And that was my highlight.
Yeah.
Just that little bit where he's figuring out the mystery.
Yeah, that's a fair point to make. Wasn't one for me, but I mean, I can see that being one for other fans of that aspect of the character. You mentioned Sully there, Stephen Lang, not someone who I would have thought of as Sully ever in a lifetime, but very interesting. I liked it. I thought it was
different.
Yeah, it was different. It was a lot gruffer, but it was something that I was like, you know what? Yeah, I could roll with this, you know.
Yeah,
But
well, I might come back to that in our negative section.
Yeah.
I thought the action was it was cool because it wasn't just an action scene. You could tell it was an Uncharted action scene. You know, just the way Drake flailed his punches. You got the kick with the the messy kick where he does the kind of flip kick after it.
Yeah.
I just thought it felt different to a standard action scene where it's just punch and kicks. Okay, it's a little on the nose.
Yeah.
Because it is Nathan Drake's moves from the game translated, and we'll come back to how it was maybe a little too direct. But I thought it nailed the tone of the fighting, like a clumsy style, and I like that.
It did. It nailed it to a certain extent, but there are negatives to that I want to bring up as well.
Okay.
But like I feel like for every single bit in this film that's a positive, it's also a negative in some other regards. And I don't want to go into the negatives just yet, but I agree that getting that movement and kind of ticking that box of certain signature movements and signature, iconic, poses.
Yeah.
And stuff, things that Nathan Drake would do in the games was definitely a highlight.
Especially the big jump punch.
Yeah.
That just is taken obviously directly from the game.
Yeah.
We'll get to the. Should we leave the first person bit or the third person part till the negatives? Yeah, we'll leave that.
Yeah.
Okay. Last things that I think did right. I liked the setting, not the mansion. The bit when they're driving out and you see the cliff and you see like it's so green and it's got that Uncharted color palette, and I thought it was just cool that you had all the jungle looking stuff even if they didn't actually go into it.
Yeah.
So on to the stuff we weren't so big a fan of.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's get on it.
So I think what we should start with is, I think we both agree it was a bit too literal and it made it feel like a fan movie, which it was obviously, but it made it feel like a fan movie as opposed to if it was less direct, it could feel like a good movie that was just inspired by the game, which I think we prefer.
Yeah, it was. You see, I watched it first time and I really, really dug it, but there was something off about it that I couldn't quite pick up on. One of the things I realized is Fillion himself. He hammed it up a bit too much in places, and that's something that Drake doesn't do.
No.
There was a moment during that third person kind of homage sequence where
he smiles.
He makes some goofy face after the gun goes off, and he throws the gun away in a manner that was like, this is a prop, I need to be careful with it, rather than just, throwing a gun away. There's that moment where he's fighting the tiny man and he puts his hand out to stop him and swinging. And I'm just thinking, you know what, he's saying
like, no, stop.
Yeah, no, stop. It's like,
I laughed at that.
Oh no, I know you did. Yeah, it was funny, but I kind of was like,
was it Drake? Yeah.
Was it Drake? But it was like, you know what? It's not for me. It wasn't kind of what I would have liked to have seen. Even as someone who always thought that Fillion would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
It kind of was like,
Yeah. No, that's fair. I felt it too with the slightly overhammed up. I thought some of the facial expressions and all were just a little much. Maybe that's because in the game he's not animated to have. He can't actually be as emotive. But no, I think it was a case of.
Let me ask you this: during the fight scenes, did the holsters do your head in as much as it did mine?
Yeah, it didn't look right.
It didn't.
It didn't.
I think
it looked like a cosplay. It didn't look right.
I think we should have left the holsters off. I think
I was obviously just a fan thing, but he doesn't have to wear that all the time.
Yeah, he doesn't have to. Like, if I'm taking someone away, as a prisoner, I'm going to don't even want them to have the option to carry any weapons. I know there was no weapons in them, but still, it's like, why would I let you wear a holster?
I was watching an interview with the director after, and he said, the IGN people said, where's it set? Or where in the timeline is it set? And he said between Uncharted 2 and 3, because he said, you can't have Nathan Drake without the ring. And I'm like, no, that's... Have a good character, set the thing where it needs to be set. I'm not arguing with the set, and I'm just saying, he seemed very tied on... It has to be Nathan Drake with the ring, with the holsters, with the blue shirt. And it's like, no, Nathan Drake's more than that. You know, make a good movie first, make a fan thing second.
Plus, did he not just wear the blue shirt in Uncharted 4? Was that not something?
Yeah, that was Uncharted 4. So he should have worn grey, you know, the one he wore in Uncharted 2.
Director's a fake fan, doesn't know fucking shit.
So, I think Sully, for me, didn't really do it.
No.
I like Stephen Lang as an actor. I just don't see that twinkle in his eye, that kid, There was no smile. He seemed a bit stiff to me. It was fine. It was a different take, but good actor, good effort. But no, it didn't have that charm for me. And same with Elena actually as well. She kind of didn't really have much chemistry with anyone.
Want to bring up that they're single take kind of thing. It's something I think should be done if they make an Uncharted film of some kind. I think they need to have that in. They just need to do it well, which that wasn't done well.
No, it wasn't. I
mean, I know it's low budget. I know it's no budget, probably fan film.
But it really, that made it look like a fan film really badly. The aspect ratio, I don't mind the aspect ratio thing in a fan movie. You know, it's kind of cool. You do something original and stuff, but it just didn't quite work.
No.
It was a bit of fun, so I didn't mind too much, but as you said, like, it did take away from the professionalism of it. Yeah. And maybe we would have actually, although we think we want a direct fan adaptation, we probably would have wanted a good movie first. The actual, I appreciated how close the actual one take thing got, like, in the sense that there's a good attention to detail. You know, these scenes or these bits where Nathan Drake would be standing behind cover and the camera zooms in on Sully in the background. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, it's, you know, but it doesn't make it an actual good watch.
Yeah, especially with Fillion's goddamn facial expressions. Like, I mean, I love Fillion Ham. Like, don't get me wrong, I love that.
But there's a time and a place.
Yeah, not when you're playing Drake. Like, I know Drake is a bit cheesy or whatever, but he's
not smile and wink at the camera.
Yeah, he's not too over the top cheesy. He's kind of like more along the lines of Bruce Willis Die Hard kind of one-liners more than
than Mickey Mouse. Yeah. No, I agree completely. What else have I got? Oh, I thought that it needed a better villain. I think Uncharted is good for the characters. And yes, it was just a fan film, and the guy kept mentioning his employer, but if you don't show him, he doesn't exist. So I was disappointed that we had the big boss guy and we had the little L.
Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who he was.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Get out.
Yeah, that's why I was like, surprised you didn't know who he was.
What?
Yeah. So
he got tanked.
Well, you see, we never really seen him without a top or, you know, with his sleeveless in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, so I don't know if he wasn't tanked then. He could have been always tanked.
Could have been. He was seriously tanked.
Yeah.
That guy's aged well. But I just thought the villain wasn't, like, memorable. And Uncharted is all about, like, Lazarevich and Flynn. You know, actually Eddie Raja and stuff were rubbish.
The villains in the first one were like,
okay, well,
most of them.
It's still a criticism for this movie. It would have been good. It would have been good if we had a better villain.
I didn't care about anything that was going on.
No, the story didn't. It was cool to see Drake figuring stuff out, but the story wasn't exactly.
The novelty was Fillion as Drake, and then once you get used to that, you start seeing
that there's not much else there.
There's not much else there, unfortunately, which is a shame. But I do still think that there is potential for Fillion to be somewhat involved in a Drake project.
And I've actually got ideas for that for our another video that we have coming out, or another podcast, depending on how you're listening to or watching this. We are going to be talking about next, actually, our thoughts for what can be done live action wise with the Uncharted franchise. So I think that's a pretty good place to wrap it up.
Yeah, I just want to say Elena was shite. Like, so shit.
think I was kind of diplomatic when I was going through that. I was like, yeah, she wasn't great.
I just was not impressed. Like, see what I am when they got it all together at the end. As I was like, I don't give a crap.
You didn't
what's
believe
going on.
that they were madly in love? No.
No, not even that. I just don't believe her. I was like, are you even real?
She didn't seem. She didn't seem to put anything in it.
Have you even seen Uncharted Love? Do you even know what you're talking about? No.
Yeah. I would be surprised if Stephen Lang had, to be honest, as well. Because, like I said, he didn't play Sully the way Sully's done. It felt like the director said, "Here, put a cigar in your mouth and say these lines."
But he still looked good doing it. That was the difference.
It's true. Alrighty. So we'll leave it there. So thanks very much, guys, for watching. Leave your thoughts and comments and argue with us, probably. Yeah, feel free to disagree.
Thursday won't be popular.
No,
with
probably
these
not.
opinions.
Well, all 20 people who view it. It's actually probably me just refreshing the pages.
No, it's going to go up to 40 because it'll be me refreshing the page. Also, yes.
Brilliant. So check out the next video. And I've been Scott. This has been Joel.
You.
Goodbye.